Right, this is the second of my retrospective model steam engine videos, and the engine we'll be looking at this time is an American Robert Fulton Line model, namely the vertical one in the middle here. I've been wondering which engine to feature in the second video, and then Tubalcain, aka Mr. Pete 222, left some very nice comments on some of my videos and became my 90th subscriber. I believe that Tubalcain is from Illinois, and these engines were made by Marvin Industries in Chicago, so that's quite apt. Also, he did a video about the restoration of a sterno-fired vertical boiler, which is very similar to this one. I mean, this one's actually electrically fired, but very similar. And I'll put a link to that video below. In case there are some of you out there that don't know, sterno is a denatured and jellied alcohol, which a lot of American model steam engines use. I think they think it's safer than meths because it's a jelly, so you can't spill it, basically. Anyway, I've always been interested in American model steam engines. I have quite a few in my collection, including these three Robert Fulton Line ones. Now, there was quite a few variations on these engines. Some had oscillating cylinders, some had piston or spool valves, some were electrically heated, like these three that I have, and others were sterno-fired, like I said before. The vertical boilered engine and this horizontal one, they both have piston valves, or spool valves as the Americans called, whereas this horizontal one, this one is an oscillating cylinder. Now, they all had various different problems. This one was missing the cylinder end cap, which you can probably see here. I actually made up a brass one for it. But before I actually made that replacement, I actually had it running with a bit of cork stuck in the end. And if you don't believe me, I'll put a link to that video below as well. Anyway, we will be looking at the vertical boiler one, this one here. Now, unfortunately with these engines, and you'll see this if you watch Tubalcain's video, they had one major problem. They have steel boilers. Now the upshot of that is that unfortunately it's very rare to find one which hasn't had rust problems with the boilers. I mean, I was lucky with the two horizontal ones. I think they were both fine if I remember correctly, but the vertical one, the base of the boiler rusted out completely. But fortunately the sides were fine. It was good metal in the sides of the boiler. So I was actually able to solder in a complete new base. Unfortunately, you can see where I had to solder it in, it has actually damaged the paintwork, but that's a small price to pay to actually get this thing running. It also had a few other problems. The piston valve here, this was seized in its slot, and the safety valve was missing. Oh yeah, and the flywheel didn't survive its trip across the Atlantic. It was in pieces when it finally arrived. But these were all fairly easy to fix. I made a new safety valve, as I did for this one as well. They're quite easy to make. The piston was freed off fairly easily. Just doused it in WD-40 and give it a quick tap, and that freed that up. And the the flywheel, well, let's turn this around so you can see it. That's what it should look like, and that's what we ended up with. Now that actually is a Mammoth lorry wheel with the paint cleaned off, which I think you can see is a fairly close match. I mean, it's slightly wider, but very, very similar anyway, and certainly works fine. So that was that. So yeah, so basically that's it. So we'll be concentrating on this one today, so let's get it running. Well, it sounds like it's bubbling away nicely. Let's give it a go. There we go. These engines are very quiet when they run. Both the horizontal ones are the same. They make very little sound. Very smooth running. As you can see, the flywheel's wobbling a little bit. I think that when the original flywheel got damaged on its trip across the pond, the main shaft which goes through here it's got slightly bent. It's not the actual flywheel; it's the shaft. But see if the whistle works. Yeah. Just turn this around a bit. Obviously, being American, this is 110, 120 volt heating element, so you can't see it, but out of camera shot is a fairly hefty auto transformer to knock our mains voltage down. And I have to say that I was very lucky. Quite often with these, the heating element does go, and that can be a problem. But it was okay in this one, yeah, it runs very well indeed. So there you go. A Robert Fulton Line, I should say, made by Marvin Industries from Chicago, Illinois, in the United States. I think these are made around about between 1940 and 1950, something like that. I don't know. There's just something about them that I really like. I like the almost silent running. They run very smoothly indeed. It is a shame about the steel boiler construction because, as I said, that does cause problems. Obviously, it pays very much to empty the boiler after you've run the engine, and make sure you get as much of the water out as possible. In fact, I generally stand it on end and let it drain, and I also keep it generally well oiled to stave off any further rusting. But yeah. There we go. That's about it for the second Model Steam Engine Retrospective. Thanks for watching, and look out for more in the future.